Hey guys, and welcome to the video on how to build catchhooks and webhooks with n8n.io. So this is exactly like Zapier, if you've ever used Zapier or other automation software that you have. So something like Make, or that used to be called Integromat. It's really cool software. You can house it on your own server as well. I don't want to get too off topic, but you can house it on your own server, so it's a lot cheaper option to these other automation softwares. But yeah, so I'm just going to show you how to quickly do a catch hook first. So obviously you want to just select a workflow. You want to go and add one. I'm just going to add a tag to this. And you want to name it webhook to, let's go to high level. At the first step, so you want to select on webhook call, which is going to be this one. I'm going to go to none, and I'm going to go to post. So that's basically your basic webhook sorted. So I'm just going to copy this posting URL, and now I'm going to go to something called Postman. So if you want to use this, you can set up a free account on Postman. What it does, it's basically just an API testing software, so you can test out your kind of webhooks, catchhooks, all that kind of stuff. And that's web.postman.co, in case you want to look. I'll pop that in the description for you guys if you wanted to have a look at it. But we're going to go and choose post because we want to match what this says. We want to match what this says basically if we're doing it. So I'm going to post. I'm going to paste in the webhook. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to headers. And I'm going to add in something called content type here, and I'm going to add in application JSON. Oh, wrong one. This is just to send test data in so we can actually do the webhook inside n8n. So then we want to go to authorization. That should be fine. Params. Then we want to just put in the parameters that we want to send through to the test parameters. So I'm just going to do email. I'm going to do some test data. Phone. First name. Test. Last name. Lead, and I'm just going to do one UTM source Facebook. Now I'm just going to amend this up here. You wouldn't have to do this, but I've got to do this just for my n8n. Cool. Okay, so now what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to go and just press go back to n8n. Now what you want to do is you want to listen for test event. Click that there. Then we want to go back to Postman, and then we want to just send the data. And it should say workflow started. So that should mean that we've got the data, so that you can see we've got the data through from that test. So that's all correct there. So we can click out of here. And next up, so that's the catchhook. That's how you create a catchhook in n8n. So this would be your catchhook URL. You can just post that somewhere in high level. So for example, in high level, if you want to use a catchhook, we can go here, just to show you how this could work as well. Test n8n. It would just be no trigger, press plus, webhook. You can just paste in your webhook in there and just press save action. One second. Cool. And you just publish, press save, and then you can just send leads through this basically. If you so wished. It's another way you can test it. I'm just testing it through Postman at the moment. That test has gone through, so that's all good. The catchhook has caught the data, and now we can send it somewhere. So for example, you would use this, say if you're doing lead generation, and a lead has gone through your kind of like qualifying questions, they've qualified, you then want to API it directly into your client's CRM, so then they can hit it live, which obviously increases conversion rate. This is a great way of doing it via the API. So we caught the data, now we want to send it to the client. So what we want to go and do with n8n, we can just go to HTTP request. I want to post it. Now, to get this data from your client, you're going to need to ask them for something that's called a posting document, or something like a, what's called a posting document. All clients should have it if they've got a CRM and they're doing APIs. And what this document is it's just basically an instruction manual for you to set up the API. Now, the main things you need to create an API to a client CRM is a posting URL, the language that it's going to be sent in, an API key or an authorization key, and then the fields that you want to map. Okay, so for this example, I've got a posting doc here, just like the one you get from your client would be a lot more than this, but this is just what I need to do the API into high level, for example. So this is my posting doc, so I'm going to start using it. It's the posting URL. I'm going to pop that into the URL bar. Then I'm going to ignore the authentication for the time being here, and I'm going to go send headers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do using fields below. So the first one I want to do is this is generic content type. Now this is just telling the API that this is going to be in JSON, because that's what high level primary language is, application. So that's all good. Then what I want to do, this is going to be the API key. Now with high level, their API key is called authorization. So a lot of systems will have something like API key as the name of the API key. With high level, it's authorization. And now they use a bearer value. So a lot of CRMs, you just paste your API key in here. High level, you need to do bearer, then your API key. Now if you look here in my posting doc, you'll see that it says authorization. You have to have bearer, space, then the API key. Okay, so where I want to send it is this high level account. And to get the API key from this high level account, you go into your business profile settings, and then you go down to your API key here, you copy it, you want to go back to n8n, you're going to paste it in there and make sure that there's a space in between bearer and this key. So that's that done. Next up we want to do send body. Now this is what you're going to be sending in to your client's system. Now depending on what the posting document says will depend on how you post it. With high level we can post it in many different ways, and as long as it's in JSON, you can do it like this. So we can do it in JSON, we can do it in form data, we can do it in form Unicode, you can do it with using fields below. You can actually do it with JSON, so you can actually type the code in. But today I'm just going to show you how to do it in form URL encode, and I'm going to do it in use a single file. Now the way this does it, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it will use UTM parameters and attach it to the URL doc, which is going to work. So UTM parameters are basically, like email equals so and so. Okay, so I'm just going to build this out now. So I've got my posting doc here, so I can see what all of this is. So just so you know, this bit here is high levels custom field. So this is the CRM that I'm sending it into, and this here will be the value for the field I'm mapping from the catchhook. So I'll just show you how this is done. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to pop it into body. I'm going to go to the start. So I want to delete out dynamic email, just showing you that all this has to be dynamic from the catchhook. Going to delete out that, and you should be doing this as well. Going to delete out that. Going to delete out that. Okay, so email and first name exactly like this. So high level's first name is posted exactly like this. So you need to have it exactly like this to post it into high level. Okay, same goes for the first name, last name, phone, email, tags. Now the tags have just added lead. That's going to be a static value. That means it's not dynamic. Every single lead that comes through this API will have the lead tag attached to it. And then I'm just going to go and get my data from, if I just move this a bit over here. So you can see input, this is from the webhook, the catchhook node, okay? So I'm going to scroll down. So first I want email in there, okay? So this has just come through. I'm going to just cut that. I'm going to paste it in here. So the email will populate there. Then I want first name, pop that in there. I'm going to, again, cut that, pop that in between the equals and the ampersand. Last name, I'm going to pop that in there. And I'm going to cut that. I'm going to pop that in between the equals and the ampersand. I want the phone in there as well. Cool, so I've got the phone data. Pop that in there. And then that is all the dynamic data that I need to add in there. Got the lead data there. So that should all be good now, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send another test through. So I'm going to listen for event. Now this should do both nodes now, okay? So I'm going to send the same data through so you can see this. This should populate into my high level now. So I'm just going to press send. I'm going to go back to here. Just test the workflow now. So I'll test it. It's waiting for a trigger event. I'm going to send that through. And we can watch it go through. So that's got a tick. That's got a tick. So that looks like it's gone through. I'm just going to click on here and double check. And as you can see, first name, last name, email, phone, and tags, they've all come through. So I'm going to go check in my high level now. I'm going to refresh. And that should have come through now. Let it just refresh now. Cool. So test lead has come through. See, first name, last name, email, phone, that's all come through good. It's come through the API. Just check the tags come through. So the tag has come through. And I forgot to map the source actually, so that's a good point. So in this, I've got the source coming through as well. So the way I want to do this is, I want to come down here again. Now I'm going to add another bit here. I'm going to do an ampersand. I'm going to do UTM source equals, and I'm going to pop the UTM source in here as well. UTM source, this is just something that you can bring through from your ads, so it can be like the source, like the traffic source of your ad basically. So this is Facebook. Right, let me just test again. Test workflow, send. Got 2 ticks. Let's go in here. I'm going to refresh the contact. Now this should have added that UTM source in now as well. So all this is going to be the same, and it should have updated the contact now with UTM source. So it hasn't. Let's just go have a look what happened. So I've mapped that correctly. So this is why it's very important to have the exact way it's written. So that should be done now. So let's test workflow again. Send. And let's see. Trigger event. So it's come up and said this message here. I'm just going to do it again. It should say workflow started. Right, it hasn't. Let me just stop that. Or refresh this quickly. Save. I'm going to turn it to active. Then I'm going to refresh. Cool. So let's test the workflow. Let's send it through again. Good, workflow started. We should have 2 ticks. Perfect. And now we can refresh the contacts. UTM source. So this is the tricky thing about having a webhook or an API. You want to make sure everything's mapped correctly. So we want to make sure this comes through. So it's not coming through for some reason. Right. I've got a feeling that that's because it's a custom field. So this we'd probably, if you're going to do custom fields as well, you may need to do it in JSON and in using JSON code. Okay. So this form URL encoded, that works perfectly if you're just sending through the standard values, which is like name, number, email, address, that kind of stuff. But if you want to send custom information through, or custom fields, which are ones you create yourself inside high level, they aren't high level standard fields, is what I'm saying. You want to go to JSON, you want to go to using JSON, you want to open up this JSON editor, and I've got this in this posting doc as well. If you want this document, just pop a comment below and I can send it over to you on Facebook Messenger. So we're going to copy this, and what we're going to do is we're just going to paste it in. So this is pretty standard JSON. I'm going to delete out these placeholders. It just shows you what you need. So we need a dynamic email, we need a dynamic phone, we need a dynamic first name, we need a dynamic last name. Keep the source traffic API is fine, and then we'll do that. So what we need is, so we've got to test this step again, do we? Okay. Send. Cool. So we've got that through. That's why Postman's so much easier. You can just keep on pressing send to send test data through if ever you need it. So it really does help. So we're going to add email in there. So we're going to go and cut that, and we're going to paste it in email. And then we're going to do the same for phone, and we're going to cut that, put that in phone. Going to find the first name. We are going to cut that, and we're going to paste that into first name. The last name, and we're going to pop that into here. n8n API is fine. Then we're going to get UTM source. So this is the custom field. As you can see, this is why it's got to be separate. So as you can see above here, let me just get this up for you. You've got email, phone, first name, last name. That goes at the start of your API. And that is all the standard fields in high level. You can't change them. Then you have to do custom field, and you add custom fields in here, basically. So if you wanted to do another custom field, what you'd go and do is you would put a little comma there. We'd go over here and we type in your next custom field. So let's say we did UTM medium. You just build your API like this, basically. Colon, space, then the brackets, and then we would just do, if we had it, we would do JSON query UTM medium, but we don't, so let's just go that's it one. I'll do a static value for that one just to show you how it works. No comma needed after that. Cool, so that should all be good. So let's go and go back to high level. We'll go and delete that out, this test lead. Oh. Cool, we can delete that. And then we can go up to here. One sec, let's just save this first. Cool. Test it, press send, workflow started, So that's worked perfectly. Let's just see. So we've got the source going in there. That's good. And we've got custom fields here. So that's perfect. So we've got ID, Facebook ad set. So that should have been updated now. So I'm going to go in. So again, it's updated the very same way. We've updated the source, test lead, email, phone, perfect. And UTM source and UTM medium have now been populated. So there you go, guys. That's how you would do a catchhook and a webhook. Now, obviously, if you're going to webhook into different CRMs, you're going to need a different posting URL, and you're going to need to map the fields down below here, and you're also going to need your correct authorization. Okay, I've got the posting doc here. If you want to have this, I can give it to you. So I've got the URL encoded one, and you've also got the JSON body for high level. But hopefully this helps, guys. If you have any questions, pop something below in the comment box. And if you're interested in anything marketing tech, then obviously give the channel a subscribe, and you'll be the first to see any new tech tutorials. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.